You've heard the phrase that defense wins championships. Well, today we're going to tell you that defense loses relationships. Today's topic hits home for so many couples. Have you ever found yourself on edge, ready to defend every word when a simple conversation turns tense? Defensiveness can be a silent relationship killer. Let's dive into why it happens, how it affects your marriage, and most importantly, how you can break free from it to build a stronger, more open connection. Well, welcome to the Home to Haven podcast. We are so glad you are here. Welcome. Come on in, grab a seat, grab your coffee, grab your water. Actually, I got my water. Got my water right here in the frame. But anyway, it's so good to have you listening wherever, however you found the podcast, or there on YouTube. If it's your first time, this is your home for faith-filled content that helps you communicate in your relationships. Hello, I'm Terrell. That's my wife, Jen, and we're happy you were here. If you get anything from today's topic, make sure, she hates when I say it, but smash that bell and subscribe and rate and review.
Yeah, click it. Click it. I don't know why you say smash, but
I don't know.
Give us that click, subscribe, like, show us some love. We love to hear your comments, your opinions on what we're talking about. So we love to hear from you. So keep that coming on.
Keep it coming. It's raining a lot. And so the backyard's kind of flooding. We we threw out some grass seed because we got fined from the HOA. Well, not fined.
We didn't get to the fining part, but they said,
yes.
Could you please address the dead grass area of your lot? And we said,
well, and that was a case of, we talked about being submitted to God. We can't submit to one another until we submit to God. And I was ready. I had my email all written because I'm like, how are you going to tell me and get the common area grass fixed?
Okay.
It's 150
worry
degrees
about
outside.
Yourself, right?
Worry about yourself. 150 degrees outside. You going to pay the water bill? But anyway, I just said.
That's defense right there.
It is defense. Ooh. Okay.
Which is what we're talking about today, right?
Let's get to it then.
All right. So we're talking about defense or defensiveness.
Yeah.
In your relationship, especially in conversations and in your communication.
So defense, let's go ahead and get it because you just called me out. It's when a situation is addressed and you don't acknowledge it.
Okay.
Or you get offended, like, how dare you address me about this?
Right.
And so we start either making excuses or firing back to make ourselves in the right.
That's right. So when somebody approaches you with something that you maybe don't like, or it rubs you the wrong way, or like we say a lot, triggers you for some reason, it could be nothing to do with them.
Right.
But something is rubbing you the wrong way. You react in a defensive position versus or instead of an active listening position.
Yeah, this is very common. A lot of relationships, I would say not a lot. Every relationship goes through this because we don't want to be wrong.
Right. Or we think we're right and we want to, of course, defend ourselves or defend the reason that we had for doing something.
So let's start by talking about 3 ways how to recognize defense in your response. The first one is going to be denial.
Denial.
So this is when you're avoiding, refusing to acknowledge there's even an issue or wrong. Oh, that's outrageous. I wasn't flirting. I wasn't doing that. You're just completely downplaying it. That's not what happened. You're not looking at the sky. It's not blue.
Yeah, you're pushing
You're imagining things.
Yeah, the issue is not there. It's not relevant. So your partner resorts to that to throw off the conversation of actually working through what they're trying to get to you and portray to you.
Right. Distract and defer.
Defer, denial, deny everything. Stick with your story. So
it's almost like the political answers, right? So if you're listening to this is the middle of political season. I don't care what. Unfortunately. And so they'll have the debate and they'll ask a question.
Yes.
Will not answer the question.
Complete denial of the question, right? And they're answering something else that wasn't even asked or has nothing to do with the whole point of the question.
Yeah. So when the country was bombed, what do you think about that? When I grew up on the south side of Florida, I was fed grains and chickens for dinner. And My plan is to give everybody chicken. Like, what?
Right. What? Did you hear the question? Are you just saying anything to the question?
So that's a great example of denial.
Yes, exactly. All right. Number 2, we are going to move to blaming.
Ooh.
So holding other people responsible.
I think all of this is just watch a political debate and you'll get everything we're saying.
You'll see it in action.
Right.
You'll see it
because now it's
center.
like, you're Jennifer is responsible. She's the reason why the border is bad.
Yeah,
She's
when
the
you
reason
were in
why,
office, you did this.
You did this, and you just crushed us and killed the economy. You killed everybody, and everything's wrong because of you.
Exactly. So you are putting the other person, you're putting them responsible for your actions or possibly your shortcomings,
right?
Things that they see that you might have done wrong or not how they wanted it to be, whatever the point was.
You don't talk. You don't respond to me. You don't. A lot of you language, no I language. If you haven't heard a podcast about that, we talk about using I language as ways to improve communication because it helps the person not be put on defense. The moment you say you're on defense, and that's putting the other person on defense. Like, whoa.
Right. And so when someone says, you didn't show me any, affection last night when I saw you, like you didn't come up and hug me. The response of blaming, well, you didn't do that either. Like you didn't do this, or you weren't in a good mood. So why would I want, to do that? So you're putting, the blame on other people.
Or, well, I was flirting with so-and-so when you got caught red-handed. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, it's because you don't listen to me. Or I wanted some love and you didn't give it to me. Right. So that's the reason why I did this. Right. Well, I'm texting her because you didn't respond,
Like an excuse.
Excuse. Correct. Right. So again, deflect and defer.
Mm-hmm. Deflect and defer. All right. And number 3 that we're going to bring up for defensiveness in conversations is downplaying. So downplaying the significance or impact 100%. Of your actions or the consequences.
This is a big one. Big one, that what you're looking at is not that big of a deal.
Yes.
Oh, it's not, it doesn't matter. It's not that important.
Yes.
Oh, that's not, why are you responding that way? Mm-hmm. Why are you getting so upset?
Yeah, you brush off the seriousness of the situation or what they're trying to talk to you about. You just push it aside. It doesn't matter. It's not important.
Yeah.
And so we really downplay or minimize the situation.
So very, very unhealthy forms of communication is this blaming, this denial. It's the defensive communication is very, very unhealthy.
Yes.
We're not taking ownership. We're not taking responsibility, and we're not acknowledging our partner of what they have brought to our attention to address. They've brought you whatever the situation is to address it.
Right. And ultimately, the defensiveness comes into play because you are trying to protect yourself. You want to set the record straight. So again, it's all about you, right? It's from your point of view, and let me make sure my view comes across, or the reason that I did something comes across, and you're kind of protecting yourself in that situation that you feel maybe attacked, or you feel like you got caught.
Attacked, you got caught red-handed, or, I want to build up this wall mechanism. Again, we talked about submission. I'm over them, I'm above them. And so how dare you, talk to me about this when they have every right to.
Yeah. It's a huge factor in a lot of communication in relationships.
Why is it such a big factor?
I think, again, because people are trying to protect themselves, or people are trying to portray themselves as doing the right thing, or maybe they do honestly think they were in the right. And so they feel like
that's a good one,
that they need to, because the other person's wrong about the situation, and they need to understand the point of view of, no, I did, the right thing, or I was, that's the way I should have acted in that situation.
Right. Side note, because I'm wondering, is that you are running the dishwasher. And it's not supposed to be running.
And it's raining.
Well.
So we have a lot of water noise, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So side note, if you're getting anything from the topic so far, make sure you like and subscribe. Drop a comment on the video, or leave us a rate and review in the podcast, and let us know your thoughts about this particular episode. Now, as we focus now to how to respond to a defensive conversation or de-escalate, I want to tell you about a recent experience we had on one of our date nights where we went to a date night, one of our restaurants. And you actually did not see this happen. Well,
Correct.
you saw some of the weirdness, I would say, of our server. So our server just had that vibe of maybe he's different.
A little different, a little odd with the things he was saying or how he was responding to what we were saying,
Give us an example.
which was, again, how we were communicating back and forth.
Okay.
So he would repeat things or say, I just want to completely make sure I'm right, which part of it, okay, I understand you're trying to double, triple check yourself that you got our order right.
Okay.
Or when we brought up that there was a special, which was what brought us into the restaurant,
Right. Yeah.
he, was like, well, yeah, I think we have that.
So and
then he paused.
How that went was, hey, we're here because there's a special we saw. We want to take advantage of that. I don't know if that's still going on.
Yeah, he's like, I think that's going on.
think
And then
it
he
is.
just paused, silence. Well,
Right.
can you, figure that out for us? That's what brought us in.
Right.
We would like to know if that's still
I
available.
don't think there's a menu.
So then he was
I don't
like,
think there's a menu.
I'll go figure that out. I don't know. Maybe
And
he just wasn't on his A game.
Literally
Like,
on the table was the special.
There was,
being
yes.
advertised.
Yes.
So again, it started weird and rocky. So to get to the point, Jim went to the bathroom before we were to leave, asked for the check, and he asked, would it be 1 or 2?
Checks.
And checks. And so, okay, I'm going to give you that, right? We're in our middle age and we're married. Okay. I'm not mad at it. It's 2024. There's people with different strokes for different folks. We have never been asked that question
Maybe
in our
I'm paying my
10-year
half. You're
in
paying
our
your
10-year history of being a couple, even when we were dating. And maybe it was 10 years ago, so a different time. I don't know. But we have never been asked, is it 1 check or 2?
Okay.
But, okay. So it'll be 1 check. Thank you.
Yep.
And, okay. So then I go to pull out
Right.
my...
So I had left
You had left.
Yep, I had left.
I go to pull out my American Express card, green card, and I give it to him. He's like, is this your card? Now that's where we'd already have a weird night already, wrong instructions, wrong food, just some stuff come out. Now I'm like, okay, that's, you have pushed the button.
Okay.
So how do you respond to that? How do we respond to that? What's the first way to de-escalate and not, escalate a conversation?
Yes. Number 1 of how to stop being defensive in communication is to, first of all, notice when you become defensive. So notice that it's starting to stir in you and say, hey, wait a minute. My reaction is about to be defensive.
Right.
So stop, think about your response.
And the age-old question there is grandma's advice: think before you speak.
Right.
It's timeless. We want to remember that. And so don't always. I know it's easier said than done, but really, really take a moment and pause, and not just be so quick to fire off because of the emotion that's being triggered.
Exactly.
But okay, hey, wait a minute.
Wait a second. I feel something stirring in me. Am I going to be defensive, or am I going to, speak something that is going to come across as defensive in this
Right.
situation?
I've also got to know truth. And I know in that instance, yes, that's my card. I also know who I am. I also know I'm very happy. We had a wonderful night. The night is about Jennifer and us having a wonderful evening together. And we're going to go home and have a wonderful evening and beautiful children. And, we're very blessed and to thank God for it. Right. So I'm not going to allow a comment that's ignorant to offset any of that. So basically what to end the story was I said, yes, can you please make the transaction so I can leave?
Okay.
Paid for it, and I met you outside. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna say something.
Right. And I didn't know what he had said. So I was like, say something like in my mind, I was like, you're going to say something about the food, or like, I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, I didn't fill you in.
So I didn't know that I was like, maybe you just about the whole situation in general. So I was just like, no, it's okay. We're good. Let's keep going.
Right.
But it obviously stirred enough in you that you wanted to speak up, right?
Yeah. So I asked the manager to join me out. I invited him to join me outside for a brief conversation.
Which brings us to number 2,
Okay.
which you put into practice.
Okay.
So number 2 is to just take a moment to recenter yourself. Think about the emotions that are going through you and don't act on those defensive feelings. So you took a minute, right? You're not like sounding off right away.
Yeah, I did not sign off right away. I let it marinate.
Yep.
And I asked the manager, I asked for him. I said, can we go outside and have a little talk, please?
Yep.
Again, I'm not going to do it in the middle of
Right.
the restaurant.
Make a big scene.
I'm not going to make a scene. I don't want the manager to make a scene. So I'm protecting both of us.
Yep.
And I said, hey, and I just stated truth. I stated facts. We're
Yep.
going to stick to truth. We're going to stick to facts. Here's what happened. Here's what was said. Here's what I think about it. And here's what I would like it. Here's what I want done about it. So it was it. It was a
Matter of fact.
45-second conversation. And I was calm and smiling because it's about truth.
Right.
And so when something is brought to you, and to his credit, he was not defensive.
Correct. Yep.
His credit, he was like, I am so sorry. I am appalled. That is
Unacceptable.
completely
Yep.
unacceptable.
Right.
This will get fixed. Here's my name. We
Yep.
got you.
If you ever come back, this is my name. I got you, kind of thing. Yeah.
So when you are talking to your spouse or your spouse brings something to you, take that pause and then just speak in truth and allow truth to govern the situation. If there was a shortcoming or fall, or you said something or you did something, you know what? Own it. I apologize.
That's right.
I'm going to work to get better, because guess what? We all are working to get better.
That's right. So for number 2, if you need a moment, also communicate that to your partner.
Okay.
So, you may be thinking, I just need to step aside for a minute. I just
Okay.
need to cool down. I need to collect my thoughts. I need to figure out what I'm thinking. I need to process for a minute. But don't just storm off and
Right.
not say anything. You can verbalize that. You can communicate that. Hey, I need a couple minutes. Let's come back in 5 minutes or whatever.
Right.
Set that plan in place. And then, like you said, number 3 is to accept responsibility for that situation, acknowledge the other person's feelings as well, and then state in truths and facts.
When you say I need a pause as the other person, accept that pause. No, we need to talk about it now. Whoa, wait. They're telling
Right.
you, beep, beep. I need a timeout. I'm losing my breath. I need a timeout. I need to rest.
Right.
So acknowledge the timeout, go to your corner and let them marinate and get it together. If you already got it together, wonderful, great. Pray for them.
Right.
So,
Right.
but
Right. Which is
respect and honor submits, right, to the other person's needs and request of, hey, I am not in the space to talk at this moment because something's going to come out that I do not want said.
100%. And as you work through those and have different situations, you will start getting better at that, right? You're practicing it.
Right.
And so it's going to start becoming your default, and you're going to start doing these steps instead of immediately sounding off and being defensive. For example, when you were saying, I turned on the dishwasher,
Okay.
technically you're blaming me for doing something.
I didn't blame you.
Well, you said I did it. So
did.
I did.
Right.
So I can accept that. But I wasn't like, I didn't quickly sound off and say, well, a snappy, sarcastic comment back.
Right.
Or if I felt like I should have in the moment, I would say, I just need a minute to think about this, and then let's regroup about it.
And then I would say, well, we have talked about, hey, not turning the dishwasher on when we podcast so that there won't be background noise.
Right. And then I could say, I apologize.
Right.
I did. Well, okay. This is a great example, because I might in the moment say, I thought that the dishwasher would already be done because I started it earlier than I typically do. And I thought for sure it would be done by the time we podcast. But that language.
And then I would say I wouldn't take that risk.
And then, well, I was just saying that in and of itself, I was being defensive, right? I'm trying to
Right.
defend my
Right.
actions.
Right.
So that's just a
And then you see it's like a back and forth
Right.
because you're not hearing me, you're not listening.
right. Or
right?
you don't care.
You don't care.
Right.
And so now it's like a ping pong
Well, I was right. You were
pickleball
right. Yeah.
back and forth of I did
Right.
you should do that.
Right.
And instead of just saying, you know what? It ends with, you know what, you're right. I'm sorry. It won't happen again.
Yes, my
Done.
fault. Done. So that was an impromptu example of real life defensive conversation.
Wonderful. Love it. If you enjoyed the conversation we had with you today, let us know by liking the video and subscribing. Drop a comment below and let us know what are some ways you've seen defensiveness in a conversation. If we've missed one, let us know. If you have a question about it, you can also email us, hi@oakhavencompany.com, DM at Oak Haven Company on all social media platforms. And we have something for you to help you not be as defensive in your relationship, which is starting spiritually. It's a freebie that you need to get. It is 5 powerful prayers every relationship needs. If you are experiencing that pain, if you're experiencing that discontinuity, there's that disconnection, that discord, that strife, that back and forth, I would strongly probably say it's a lack of prayer, it's a lack of coming together and understanding, getting on the same page, and you do that in prayer.
That's right, and that's what you need to start doing first. That's
It sounds
the first
simple,
step.
but it really is.
Sounds so simple, but it will ultimately change your relationship for the better. I guarantee that prayer will change your relationship. So download the freebie today. Get the
Right.
5 powerful prayers for your relationship. We go over the scriptures that it's based on,
Exactly.
sample prayers, and those topics that the relationship needs.
Right. So what we've done is, well, what does it mean to pray for your spouse? So I do pray. Well, what we've done is we've put together 5 topics.
Mm-hmm.
We gave you the verse. We give you the reference. We give you a simple prayer to pray based on the word of God. And you can expound upon that. You can, enhance upon it how you see fit. But it's the starting point to get you and get your atmosphere set in your home and in your relationship. Get it today. It's in the show notes. It's in the description. oakhavencompany.com/5 prayers. Don't delay. Get it right now. It's our gift to you. It's our way of saying thank you for supporting the channel and the content. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, it's wisdom that builds the house.